The greatest club teams are great for a reason, because they've won trophies, captivated fans, and attracted the attention of new ones. Every top club in Europe has at least 2, 3, or even more great periods that are written in golden letters in football history. This is a very controversial subject and is highly likely that many of you will disagree with us, so feel free to have a look and share your thoughts in the comment section. Also, let's set the rules that we can't use more than one club in the list, even though they're also worth mentioning. These are the greatest club seasons of all time. Liverpool 1983 to 84. When we mention Liverpool and the Champions League in the same sentence, we tend to think of 2005, when Rafa Benitez's side pulled off the famous Miracle of Istanbul. Yes, it was a great season for Merseyside, but the most illustrious was undoubtedly 1983 to 84. Under the expert guidance of Joe Fagan, Liverpool won an unprecedented treble: the League Cup, and the European Cup. Yes, some will argue that technically it wasn't quite a treble, as Liverpool missed out on the FA Cup, but the League Cup is a proper trophy too, so we'll count that. The team boasts legendary players such as Kenny Dalglish, Graham Souness, Ian Rush, and Alan Hansen. Ian Rush was particularly prolific, scoring 47 goals in all competitions. Highlights of the season included a 3-point league title win over Southampton and a 1-0 League Cup win over Everton in a thrilling replay. The climax of the season came on when Liverpool took on AS Roma in the European Cup final at the Stadio Olimpico. In a dramatic match that ended 1-1 after extra time, goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar's infamous spaghetti legs antic in the penalty shootout became legendary, unsettling the Roma players and helping Liverpool win 4-2 on penalties. Ajax 1971 to 72. Yes, the Ajax team of the 1970s is amazing, but there's something bigger than the incredible success they achieved in that period. It was a time when the idea of total football began to take hold and changed the game forever. Johan Cruyff, who could easily be described as the most influential man in the history of football, developed the idea and went on to manage Ajax and build the dream team with Barcelona in the 1990s. Speaking of the 1971-72 season, the legendary Rinus Michels was initially in charge, but was later replaced by Romanian Stefan Kovac. With him at the helm, Ajax won an unforgettable treble, winning the Eredivisie, the Dutch Cup, and the European Cup. As well as Cruyff, who was the team's talisman, other notable names included Johan Neeskens and Ruud Krol. A defining moment of the season was the European Cup final against Inter Milan, which Ajax won 2-0, with Cruyff scoring both goals. It was the second of 3 successive European Cups, making Ajax only the second team to achieve the feat after Real Madrid in the 1950s. Milan 1988 to 89. Now this is probably the second best team ever to have failed to win the treble. Milan in 1988 to 89 was the real deal. Incredible stars, fantastic coaching, and last but not least, a stunning club structure that had been built almost from scratch in just under 3 years. In the mid-80s, AC Milan were going through one of the biggest crises in their history, but Silvio Berlusconi changed everything when he took over in 1986. From the coaching staff to the financial stability and the ability to build one of the most powerful squads we have ever seen. It featured the iconic Dutch trio of Marco van Basten, Ruud Gullit, and Frank Rijkaard, whose talent were complemented by Italian superstars Franco Baresi, Paolo Maldini, and Alessandro Costacurta. They were also managed by the legendary Arrigo Sacchi. The defining moment of the season came in the European Champions Cup semi-final against Real Madrid, where Milan recorded a stunning 5-0 victory at the San Siro, one of the greatest achievements in European football history. In the final, Milan defeated Steaua Bucharest 4-0, with Gullit and Van Basten both scoring twice, proving their formidable partnership. Inter Milan 2009 to 10. And from one Milan giant, we go straight to the other. Inter's 2009 to 10 season is one of the most remarkable in the history of the game, marked by an unprecedented triumph under the charismatic leadership of Jose Mourinho, as they became the first, and today only, Italian club to win the Serie A, Coppa Italia, and Champions League. Perhaps the most memorable moment came in the Champions League semi-final against Barcelona, when Inter's tactical discipline shone through. After a 3-1 win at the San Siro, Inter held their own at the Camp Nou, where they lost 1-0, but progressed 3-2. In the final, they came up against the mighty Bayern Munich, but Diego Milito's brilliance ensured a 2-0 victory over the Bavarians, with the Argentines scoring both goals to cement his status as the hero of the night. He, along with Mourinho and Sneijder, are remembered as the three men without whom this success would not have been possible. This special one changed the whole dynamic of the team following his arrival 2 years earlier. Sneijder, on the other hand, was undoubtedly the team's talisman, as he even had the chance to win the Ballon d'Or later that year, but wasn't even chosen on the podium. And after Inter's magnificent season in 2010, the Nerazzurri had to wait another 13 years to play in a final of the tournament, losing out to Manchester City 2022-23. Moving on to the most recent top teams we've seen, we've got Man City, which, to be honest, hasn't changed much so far. For 7 years, Pep Guardiola struggled to build the perfect team, but he finally did it, winning the first English treble of the 21st century and, of course, the first in Man City's history. A pivotal moment in the Premier League campaign came with back-to-back victories over Arsenal in February and April, which cemented their position at the top of the table. In the FA Cup, City triumphed over Manchester United in the final, with Ilkay Gundogan scoring twice in a 2-1 victory. But the highlight of the season came in Istanbul on the 10th of June, when Rodri's goal secured a 1-0 win over Inter Milan. Yes, we've mentioned Gundogan, Rodri and Guardiola as the key figures in this success, but we can't forget Kevin De Bruyne and especially Erling Haaland, who broke a number of records in his debut season in England. Definitely a team for the ages. Manchester United 1998 to 1999. Yes, the two Manchester Giants are the only English clubs to have won the treble in its classic form. Premier League, FA Cup and Champions League. There's plenty of debate between the red and blue of Manchester as to which of the two teams is greater, but we put Manchester United's treble-winning season of 1998 to 1999 one step above their rivals simply because of the legacy it's left on the game. Sir Alex Ferguson's United team was a mixture of experienced veterans and young talent. Key players included David Beckham, whose pinpoint shooting and crosses were crucial, Roy Keane, an enforcer and leader in midfield, and Dwight Yorke and Andy Cole, whose partnership produced a lot of goals. A very important and even game-changing moment was the FA Cup semi-final replay against Arsenal, where Ryan Giggs' stunning solo goal in extra time secured a 2-1 victory. In the Premier League, United clinched the title on the final day with a comeback victory over Tottenham. The pinnacle of their season came in the Champions League final against Bayern Munich. Trailing 1-0 going into injury time, United staged an extraordinary comeback with goals from Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to win 2-1 and complete the treble. Real Madrid 2016-17. We've mentioned a number of top teams from a number of great European footballing nations, but it's now time for the most titled of them all, Real Madrid from Spain. The history and legacy of Real Madrid is full of great and interesting facts, but we cannot argue that Los Blancos are one of the only great clubs to have never won a European treble. Incredible, but true. A key moment in the psychological boost that Madrid have received this season was Sergio Ramos' late equaliser in the first El Clasico of the season at the Camp Nou. Real Madrid went on to take a commanding lead over arch-rivals Barcelona, and despite losing the second El Clasico in dramatic fashion after Leo Messi's great goal, they went on to win La Liga. In the Champions League, Zinedine Zidane's side triumphed over Atletico Madrid in the semi-finals, with Ronaldo's hat-trick in the first leg proving decisive. In the final, Madrid outplayed Juventus, especially in the second half, to run out 4-1 winners, with Ronaldo scoring twice and Casemiro and Marco Asensio adding the other goals. Bayern Munich 2019-2020. Hansi Flick, Robert Lewandowski, Joshua Kimmich, Thomas Muller. This team was written in the stars. The epitome of opponent-smashing German football, this was the style of play that Flick employed when he was in charge of Bayern Munich between 2019 and 2021. The mighty Bayern Munich set record after record, but the sweetest of all was their unprecedented sextuple that season, the most prestigious achievement you can achieve in club football. League title, Domestic Cup, Champions League, European Super Cup, Domestic Super Cup, and Club World Cup. Bayern became only the second team in history to do it all. Talking about the key moments of the campaign, well, the Bundesliga and the German Cup were easy wins because Bayern didn't have the slightest competition. However, when it came to their quest for a sixth Champions League, they did have some quality opponents in former winners Chelsea and Barcelona. However, both teams weren't just comfortably beaten by Bayern, they were literally ran over by the Germans. Yes, we all remember the 8-2 thrashing of Barcelona in the quarter-finals. In the final, Bayern beat PSG in a highly competitive match, with Kingsley Coman scoring the decisive header to make it 1-0. Barcelona 2008 to 2009. Many of you were probably expecting Barcelona to come out on top, because when it comes to individual seasons, the Catalans are unrivaled. And to be fair, they always win the Champions League as undoubtedly the best team in the world, something that cannot be said with complete certainty about the champions of recent years. However, Barca always win their European trophies in style, as we saw in 2015 with the astonishing trio of Messi, Suarez and Neymar, as well as in 2009 and 2011 with Pep Guardiola's tiki-taka dream teams featuring the homegrown talents of Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, Puyol, Piqué, Valdez and Pedro. However, 2009 will forever be remembered as the year Barcelona became the first club in history to win 6 out of 6 trophies in the calendar year. Bayern Munich have since repeated the feat, but the first time is always special. Speaking of the La Liga title, the most defining moment was undoubtedly the crushing 6-2 victory over Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. In the final of the Copa del Rey, Barcelona beat Atletico Bilbao 4-1 to lift their first trophy of the season. The highlight came on the 27th of May 2009 in the Champions League final against Manchester United in Rome. Goals from Samuel Eto'o and Leo Messi sealed a 2-0 victory and confirmed their supremacy. With Real Madrid likely to remain the club with more trophies than Barcelona, especially in the Champions League, Barca also have something to boast about. The famous streamer Skills once said something that completely reflects the truth in this debate between two of the biggest giants in world football. And with that really interesting comparison came the end of today's episode.
The best team I've ever seen play the game is Barcelona. But like the best playing team, organized, passing the ball. But the greatest team of all time is Real Madrid. Until somebody tops the 3P. Here's the difference, chat. The Barca team, we have to tell our kids about it. They'll never believe us. They'll say it's a Christmas story. They'll say we're making it up when we go, hey man, we used to watch a team hold the ball for 90 minutes. Nobody could get it. Tiki-taka, pow, 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 pow. They'll say, nah, you're lying. Nobody could touch the ball. The trophies live forever. We can tell stories about what we saw with Barca, but we had to see it. But the Champions Leagues are forever. So when someone opens the history books and it says 3 Champions Leagues in a row, there's nobody to talk about Barca.
If you liked it, you can like and subscribe to the channel or just check some of our latest uploads. Until next time.